What's up, pretty gang? It's your favorite nail tech Peaches back with another video. Today we're going to talk about 3 reasons your long nails look bad. I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news. My long nails used to look bad, but I'm going to tell you what it is that we are doing wrong, that we need to work on, that is going to give us a better result. So I'm going to start with each and every phase, starting with prep, and I'm going to break it down as to what's going on and how we can fix it. Okay, so again, we're going to break it down right now. So number 1, you're shaping away the integrity of the nail. And I'm sure you're probably like, Peaches, what the hell is integrity? I'm glad you asked because I'm fin to tell you. So boom, the integrity that I'm referring to is basically the quality of the nails, the nail being whole, the nail looking like how it should look, okay? And where this comes into play is in the sidewalls. You're either shaping it too narrow, you're cutting into the nail tip, or you're just straight up using the wrong size nail tip. Now, the reason that this is a big deal, again, in talking about you are shaping away the integrity of the nail before we even get to the application, it is a big deal because if you have any of the sub problems that I just listed that popped up on the screen, your application is not going to sit well, which means in the long run, your long nails are just not going to look that good, okay? I have shaping tutorials all over my channel if you're interested in going further into depth with that, as well as prep videos. But just know you're going to want to be careful how you shape, and you're going to make sure that you're using the right size tips. We do not want to shape away our sidewalls. So if you're interested in more information like this, you can become extra pretty and join my channel membership. If you're like, dang, I've been wanting to ask these type of questions to somebody, but who can I talk to? Girl, you can talk to me. So here are some of the perks, as well as the group chat that I have started for those that have questions. Okay, so here is the color we're going to be using. This color is only available in the chocolate bar collection, I believe. I do have a coupon code, and the next step is going to be application. Now you're going to see me fiddle around with my brush. Okay, I'll get to that in a second. But the second thing we're doing wrong is we're having an unbalanced nail enhancement. Okay, I do want to point out that size matters, not all the time, but honey, in this instance, it does. Okay, so really, when we're talking about application of long nails, right? Usually when things are going wrong, it's because the enhancement is unbalanced. We're doing things that maybe doesn't make sense for the length or the shape, the width, whatever it is, right? So it's about structure. We're either doing it too thick, too thin, or we're having apex issues. If you're dealing with any of these issues, not only is your long nails going to look bad, but they are not going to last. I did just put out a couple of videos on structure and shape, and honestly, you can kind of apply those same tips here. But what you need to know is that you don't have to do the 1 bead method. You don't even have to do the 2 bead method. You can do as many beads as you need to get that strength that you need. But what you do need to know is this first bead where the tip meets the enhancement, I should say the tip meets the real nail, right? That needs to be strong. You need to have an enhancement that has a really solid apex with a flush cuticle area. The tip also needs to not be too thick. It's really, really finicky. And if you don't have that right structure, you're going to have some issues. Okay. So do you see this issue, girl, whatever. Do you see this area right here? That's what I'm talking about, where the nail tip meets the natural nail. Okay. That is where you saw me lay my bead, and as you can see, I pretty much carried it all the way down, so that way I have a nice smooth area and I can lay my apex accordingly. Now you can see from this side view, it's not too thick and it's not too thin. What we don't want is the acrylic to be as thin as the nail tip. If you are laying your acrylic that way, I can guarantee you that the nails are not going to dry properly, which means you're going to have clients that are going to leave with bendy-ish nails. I've definitely had people bring up this issue, not because they've had it from me, but just from other techs. And honestly, it's not a fun issue to have. It feels like wasted money. Okay, so you guys can see me putting a bead in the apex area, which apex issues is a sub issue that I touched on when it comes to unbalanced nail enhancements. Now, the thing about it is with long nails, the apex is really where all of your strength goes. Now, where the nail tip and the natural nail meet, that is also like a heavy hitter for where the strength needs to be at. But the apex is really what holds everything together. Okay, so I want you guys to take a look at this. You see this area right here? That is the apex area. This is where we want it nice and smooth. We want a nice transition from the cuticle area, and we want it to pretty much, like I call it, a speed ramp up to the apex area and finish strong throughout. Now, if your apex is not strong, and then you go ahead and you continue laying beads everywhere else, what you're going to have is a top heavy enhancement towards the tip. If that is your problem, then you need to go ahead and go back in and deal with your apex, okay? Now, if you have the problem of the nail overall being too thick, which girl, I used to have that problem too, that is just gonna come with some practice and figuring out what you need to do for yourself to kind of fix that ratio. A lot of times it's going to come with your liquid to powder ratios, how big beads that you're picking up, which leads me back to me saying size does matter with your brushes. If you're always using a size 10 or 12, then a lot of times that can lead to you not having enough acrylic, because either you're using too many tiny beads because you're scared to pick up a big bead, or you're using a lot of tiny beads and it's leading you to thick nails. So I definitely suggest you try to sizing up to at least a 14. I'm at a size 20 brush. I ain't asking you to do all that, okay? I am just suggesting that for some of you guys, a bigger brush, a 14 or 16 perhaps, may actually help you gauge your liquid to powder ratios better, which can further help you and lead you to a better nail structure so we don't have unbalanced nail enhancements, okay? Now, I know dealing with long nails is really hard, and I know dealing with short nails is really hard, but honestly, it's got to be done, okay? If we want the clients and we want to make the money, okay, that we're also after, I guess, okay, then we're going to have to make some changes in our work, and we're going to have to view our work objectively so that we can learn. And by learning, I mean putting your own mental ingenuity together. Okay, that's kind of, I don't even know if I use that word correctly, but that's what we're going to call it today. We want to use our own mental brain power and apply it to ourselves. We don't want to just watch this video and think, okay, this is exactly what peaches do. Let me just go ahead and copy that, because girl, we might not use the same tips, the same product. We might not like the same ratio beads. So this video is to talk you through the problems that you have so that way you can apply this advice to your own work. Okay. All right. So you guys are seeing me doing this nail and everything looks fine and dandy, but in a second, I'm actually going to show you from a different angle, right? I'm gonna show you this nail from a different angle, and we're gonna discuss exactly what's going on, because after all, this is a video about why long nails is not looking too good. And this particular nail I'm gonna show you is actually not looking as good as it could, okay? So it's important to double and triple check your work as you're going through and not just stay top down, because in just a second, you guys are going to see basically what's going on, okay? Okay, 3, 2, 1, it should pop up any second. Okay, so y'all see this area right here? Not only is it too thick, but the apex issues. So in the apex area, it's too thin, and right where that area I pointed out earlier, where the nail tip meets the natural nail, that is too thick. So we have hit literally 2 out of 3 of the sub issues in the bigger issue of unbalanced nail enhancement. So what that means is I need to stop putting acrylic in the lower half of the nail. I need to fix my apex really quick, because if you see from the other side, not only is my apex dipped from this angle, but if I look at it from the other side where my brush is touching, it looks different over there, okay? It looks better over there. So now I have to figure out in my head how much of this can be fixed with acrylic and how much can be fixed with shaping. You're gonna always have to check from multiple angles to see how can I patch work this nail together so that way it's not too thick, but it also maintains its integrity. So that's pretty much what I'm doing here. We got to know when to stop, because we do not want ourselves in a situation to where now it's taking even more time during the shaping process and it's keeping our appointment times sky high. Now, if you're a beginner, of course, your appointment times are going to be super long, but as we continue to learn and practice and get better, client by client, year by year, we should be able to reduce those times. And this is what I'm here for, okay? I am here to help, right? Which, again, if you're interested in that extra help, I highly suggest you joining my channel memberships. Literally only $5 a month, and you get so much access to content and access to asking me these hard questions along with other people who are interested in these same questions. So let's move on to shaping. Let's talk about what are the issues that we're having with shaping, or the big issue, right? So it comes down to poor filing techniques. And in a second, I'm going to show you exactly what I mean, but this is the biggest issue. There's honestly nothing more to it. So the filing issues, you're either over filing, under filing, or you just have a bunch of dips and dents that you may not know how to fix. So in this case, we are needing to discuss how are we holding our file. So for long nails, we need to make sure that the file is flush up against the shape. If it's square, of course, it's going to be a literal, right up against that square. The file and the square are going to be the same shape. If it's coffin, you'll need to angle it a little bit more at like a 45-degree angle. If it's stiletto or whatever the shape, that might be like a more 60-degree angle. However you want to break that down, you need to keep the file against the shape that you're making, and you need to use your fingers to support the nail that you are shaping, like how you guys see here. Now, as far as dips and dents, you need to focus on going over the surface area and not just being worried about, smaller parts of the nail. Now in a second, I'm going to pause it so that way I can show you exactly the areas where we need to focus on. Again, this is not a tutorial, but more like a talk through to just help you with these major issues. So you guys see these areas? The one on that middle finger, that's where a lot of overfiling can happen. And that is where the natural nail can be exposed if you file too much. Now the other area is of the surface area and kind of like more, I don't want to call it the sidewall area, but the side of the nail, to where that area can typically get undershaped and where you have a lot of dips and dents. The last thing you want is for the natural nail to get exposed, but you know what? It happens to all of us. And at the end of the day, it's nothing wrong with going back in with a little bit of acrylic to fix a problem to help you shape better. Now, we've pretty much come to the end of this video. I honestly hope that it was helpful for you guys. I know it seemed probably very fast-paced and quick, but I'm also hoping that this is great for beginners, but this is probably more so for those who are more intermediate, looking to become more advanced. You guys, let me know if this was helpful at all. I love to hear from you guys in the comments. Again, I appreciate you guys for watching. This is the final look. I think it came out cute, honey. So of course, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, notifications on, and I'll see you in the next video.